Hello and welcome to another episode of the BSN Network podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 14th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is in fact Wednesday, September 14th here today, coming off another big night last night in the world of sports. Monday also was a big night. I apologize, was not able to do a pod yesterday. As I mentioned on my later on in the show on Monday, due to scheduling, I'm going to have podcasts kind of up now Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays is going to kind of how the schedule is going to be. If I can fit one in on like a Thursday or a Tuesday, I will. But for now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I definitely will be doing, the videos. Tuesday and Thursday, I'll try to get them in if I can. If I can't, just be the day after that. So that's kind of the schedule for right now as, things this time of year start to heat up a little bit. But still a lot of sports going on. Monday Night Football, you had Seahawks knock off the Broncos, get the win there. Last night, the Yankees get the win in extra innings against Boston. Aaron Judge has a phenomenal game as they win in extra innings there. Mets lose 4-1 to Chicago as their woes continue. Today's going to be a big baseball day. Football Friday I talked about. Monday I talked a ton of football. Obviously didn't do a pod yesterday, so today, Wednesday, September 14th, we're going to get into a lot of baseball. Second game of a quick two-game Boston road trip for the Yankees will wrap up tonight before they will head back out to head out to Milwaukee for 3 games starting on Friday. So an easier week for the Yankees, not in terms of opponents, but in terms of days, rest. They get a day off on Monday after a very big series win against Tampa. They play today. They'll play, they played yesterday. They play again today. Then they'll get a day off tomorrow, Thursday. They'll be back in action Friday. So over these, 2 days off, 2 days game. So relatively an easier week for the Yankees in terms of workload, not having to play, a big 4-game set against a division rival and then go on the road to play another team. So second game of a quick 2-game set in Boston wraps up tonight. Mets will open up, we'll go into the second game as well of a 3-game set in Chicago against Chicago at home, Citi Field. They'll play today, and then that'll be. Or actually, I apologize. Final game of a 3-game set today for the Mets. They lost game 1, lost again yesterday. This is the final game of a 3-game set today before they welcome Pittsburgh to town tomorrow for a 4-game set at Citi Field Thursday through Sunday weekend series. Mets Pirates. So a lot to look forward to there. Topics for today's podcast are going to kind of be conjoined in terms of one big topic. We're going to kind of do a Yankees Mets update. Talk about Judge, talk about his dominance specifically. Then we'll get to the Mets. Going to try to keep this podcast around 25 to 30 minutes just due to timing. Don't want to get into the 40s or 50 minutes just due to timing again. So about 25 to 30 minutes today. We're going to get to Aaron Judge. We're going to get to the Mets, and we'll finish things off with the New York Sports Update again. Second game of a quick 2-game stop in Boston for the Yankees tonight. And the final game of the 3-game set with the Mets-Cubs. Mets look to salvage the final game. Can't believe I'm saying that. The Mets look to salvage the final game of the 3-game set against Chicago. You can't lose today. You can't possibly get swept by the Cubs at home. You just can't do it. So big game tonight for the Mets as they look to get back on track. Tomorrow night will be a little Chargers-Chiefs Thursday Night Football. So a lot to look forward to here over the course of these next couple days. And by the way, if I don't do a pod tomorrow, I'll get my game pick out today if I remember. I'll get my game pick out later on in the episode. But again, if I could try to get a quick podcast in, I will, kind of just play it by ear and see how it all plays out. So with all that being said, a lot to get to today on the podcast, I should say. This is the BSN podcast, and let's get into it. So, the Yankees right now are playing good baseball. Obviously, the Mets are not. Yankees last night get the win over the Boston Red Sox 7-6 in the extra innings. Get a very good win there. Yankees start to seem like they're starting to turn things around a little bit, just in terms of the way they're playing. And we'll obviously get to the Mets as well. And night in and night out, we continue to watch Aaron Judge just dominate. And we'll get to the Mets, like I said. We'll get to their struggles. We'll get to their issues. We'll get to DeGrom last night. I think his post-game press conference kind of sums up just about everything. He says, that game's on me. I got to go out there and throw up zeros. That game's not on DeGrom. Yes, he didn't pitch great. Yes, he allowed 3 runs. Yes, Ian Happ, hit a long ball. But when your offense scores 1 run and it's a meaningless, 8th inning home run by Pete Alonso, you're not going to win games like that. So that was just wild what he said, and that kind of sums up where the Mets are right now. No offense. I mean, they're losing. They're scoring 1 run against Chicago. They're not scoring against, they didn't score in the first game against Pittsburgh. Struggled a little bit early in the part of the series against Miami to score. Couldn't score against the Nationals. Back-to-back games, they scored 1 run. They can't score right now, and we'll get to them. But I got to start with the Yankees, and more specifically Aaron Judge. And again, the Yankees are playing good baseball right now, and I like what I'm seeing. Again, they're starting to kind of show us where they were earlier in the year, where they're hitting with runners in scoring position. I think that Rays game was a perfect example. They just hit Kluber. I mean, they had 7 singles in a row. They were just hitting, and that's what you want to see out of this team. They're 7-3 in their last 10 on a 3-game win streak, and we went from just about 2 weeks ago, the Yankees walking out of Tampa, losing 2 of 3, and only being about 2.5 games up. Really about a week ago, 2 weeks now. You walk out of Tampa only 2.5 games up, it was a week this Sunday actually. A week and a half ago, you walk out of there you only being about 2 up in the loss column, and you go back home. You take 3 of 4 against Minnesota. You take 2 of 3 against Tampa. You took the first game yesterday against Boston, and now you find yourself 6 games up in the division. More breathing room and playing very good baseball, playing the type of baseball you were playing earlier in the year, which is good to see. And I hope that this is the Yankee team. I hope this is it. I hope this is what the Yankee team is, not what we saw really over the course of July and most of August, which was a bad baseball team that looked eerily similar to last year. I hope this is the Yankee team that we will continue to see. And I know Judge is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but look, sometimes that's just how it is. If you remove Judge from this team, they're going to stink. I get all that, but that's obvious. If you remove your best player from a lot of teams, it's going to happen. Judge is just a special player. That's going to be the case, and he's hitting well right now. I mean, he's dominating. And I want to get to Judge specifically because what we see on a night in and night out basis from Aaron Judge is simply phenomenal. I mean, what we're witnessing watching Aaron Judge every night is something we have not seen in a very long time. Something you might not, and I think Michael Kay made a great point last night on the broadcast listening to the game Yankees-Red Sox on Yes. Him saying how you have to kind of cherish this. Like, as a fan, younger fan like I am, or a older fan that witnessed, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, many other generations prior, fans that have been fans for over, 60, 70 years, those type of fans, and a fan like I am, where I'm a younger generation type of fan. I didn't witness the 90s. Obviously, I don't remember the 2009 World Series. I haven't never witnessed a World Series championship with the Yankees, albeit they have 27. I don't remember any of them. I was only around for one of them, and I don't remember it. And he was saying how, every young, all the generations, this is special because you might not ever see this again. What Aaron Judge is doing, going and beating Roger Maris's record of 61 home runs. I mean, you might not have, that was a record that seemed unbreakable, especially with the whole PED era happening, and then now you're like, you haven't seen home runs up to this, total in a while, and you're thinking to yourself, we might not ever see this. I mean, if Judge puts up 65 home runs this year, you might not see another guy put up 65 home runs until, years and years and years and years from now, decades from now. That's really how it is. I mean, look at Maris. We haven't seen somebody in the AL break his record. Now look at where we're at. It's 2022, and we finally got a guy to break the record. Like, we are witnessing history night in and night out. We're witnessing greatness night in, night out. We are witnessing one of the most historic baseball seasons of performance by a single player night in and night out. And I want to read you some numbers. And I want to say this. To all the people out there that continue to say Shohei Ohtani is the MVP, I disagree. Personally, in my opinion, I disagree. I understand Ohtani's great. I get all that. But Judge, what he's doing, again, we haven't seen a season put together like this in the American League since Roger Maris played. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen a guy sniff 61 home runs in a very long time. This is a season that's going to go down in history, and a season that very well might not ever happen again until a very long time. You don't know if you'll ever see it again. That's how historic it is. So let me give you some numbers. And again, we're talking about most valuable, and I've had this conversation before, but I want to have it again because every night he finds a way to do something yet again that's just like, wow. And you sit there and you just gotta, you don't sit there and go crazy. You just sit there in awe because of what we're watching. I mean, this is something that's simply remarkable. 55 home runs going into last night, hits 2 more, boom, at 57. 5 homers away from beating Maris's record, 4 away from tying it. He's got plenty of games to do it. He's on pace for, I believe, 65, which would beat it by 4. Amazing. So I'm going to give you some numbers. And again, most valuable. If you remove Judge from this lineup, they are not the same team. They are not. Not even close to the same team as I mentioned earlier on. Not even close. This season, he has a .310 batting average. That's 7th in the MLB and 4th in the AL. And the reason I bring this up is he's very, very close to a possible Triple Crown winner. He's 9 points away right now. 319 is the highest batting average in the AL. 310 is the highest. He's at 310. He's very close. The Triple Crown is not out of reach for Aaron Judge. It's not. And Triple Crown's obviously, you lead your league in batting average, home runs, and RBIs, which he has home runs and RBIs locked up. Home runs he has locked up. And RBIs he's got locked up pretty much as well. So that's the Triple Crown. He's very close with the batting average. He's going to lead in RBIs and home runs. Batting average very close. So .310 batting average, 7th in the MLB, 4th in the American League. He has 158 hits. That's 9th in the MLB and 5th in the AL. And again, I'm crunching these numbers just to show you, out of all the players in baseball, where he ranks. He ranks in the top 10 in every single major statistical category. When you're looking at hits, looking at runs, looking at RBIs, looking at batting average, OPS, on-base percentage, slugging, WAR, all that stuff, he ranks up there. Many of those categories in first, and we'll get to all those. So runs scored. And as I look at my notes here, all these, I highlighted all the ones that he's in first in all of baseball. So that means I've highlighted 7 stat categories, including one that he's in the second in the MLB and first in the AL. We'll get to that category in a second. Runs scored, he has 116. That is first in the MLB. I mean, it's unbelievable. Home runs, like I mentioned, this is the craziest one. 57 home runs. That is first in the MLB by an absolute landslide. Guess who's second? Kyle Schwarber at 37. He leads the home run total right now. The home run leaderboard is Aaron Judge at 57. The next closest, 20 home runs behind him, Kyle Schwarber at 37. That just shows you the crazy, crazy season. And it makes Schwarber look like he's having an average year. Schwarber's going to put up 40 home runs this season. I mean, that's unbelievable. But when you got a guy chasing 61, chasing Maris's record, it makes you look kind of average. But I mean, he leads the home run race right now. He leads it by 20. I mean, that's wild. That's just out of this world crazy. Usually the home run race is like, you know, somebody's got 39, the other guy's got 37, maybe 45 and like 40. No, it's 57. Next closest is at 37, Kyle Schwarber, who leads the National League, obviously, on the Phillies putting together a nice season. His 123 RBIs, that's also first in baseball. Next closest, Pete Alonso, who has 110. He's got 13 more RBIs than the next closest, fellow New York, Pete Alonso. And 13 RBIs, that's a lot to make up. I know Alonso had a home run last night, but it looks like he's well on his way to finishing in first in RBIs. In walks, he's got 88 walks. That's second in the MLB. The only person that's better than him, and I don't think, and walks isn't a big thing, but I still want to show you that he is getting his walks, and a lot of people, it goes under the radar. He walks a lot. He does. And he's first in the AL. Leader in walks in the MLB is Juan Soto. He's got like in the hundreds, 126, I think, or something like that. Judge is at 88. He's second in the MLB, first in the AL in walks. All right, these are some of the crazier categories. So you look at the ones, home runs, RBIs are wild. On-base percentage is at .414. That is first in the MLB. Slugging percentage is .692. That is first in the MLB. An OPS of 1.105. That is first in the MLB by a mile. And oh yeah, his WAR is 9. That's first in the MLB. Batting average, fourth in the AL. On-base percentage, first in the MLB. Slugging, first in the league. OPS, first in the league. WAR, first in the league. All those first in the MLB. So when you look at a guy's stat line, his slash line, I should say, he's every single category on base, slugging, OPS, WAR is all first, and batting average is fourth, and he's only 9 points away from leading the AL in batting average, in which would set him up to be in the Triple Crown conversation. Not in the conversation, would set him up to be the Triple Crown. And he's got about 20, a little less than 20 games to go. What are I forget exactly what are they on? 140? Is it game 142, 43 now or something like that? I think. So what? You got about 20 games or a little less than 20 games left. It's just wild. It really is wild. What we are witnessing on a night out, night at basis. So they've played 142 games. So they got 19 games left. Or 20 games left, I should say. Technically, 20 games left, including tonight's game. So 20 games left to make up batting average to get to the Triple Crown. It's crazy. It really is wild. I mean, it's just wild. You look at the home runs, 57, and that's why I wanted to break it down. Like, the home runs are crazy, and everyone's focusing on the home runs, and rightfully so. He's in a historic race right now. But when you look at the other categories, too, it's even more eye-opening. I mean, he's first in runs, home runs, RBIs, first in the AL in walks, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and WAR. I mean, I wrote down, so 8 categories he's first. 7 categories he's first in the MLB. One of them he's first in the AL. I wrote down 10 different statistics. 7 of those he's first in the MLB. 8 of those he's first, with one of those being first in the AL. I mean, you talk about a guy that's just on top of the league right now. I mean, he's the truth. I mean, he's just unbelievable. I mean, he leaves you speechless at times. It does. And he did it again last night. And he's just continuing to do it. And you know what's crazy is he really has shown no signs of, like, sometimes guys, and I've seen this happen before, and I know he had that little bit of that slump where he went he had like 20 at-bats where he was like 2 for 20 or something like that when the Yankees were really slumping. And that's kind of when we were all saying, like, look, he's not hitting, Yankees aren't winning, and that's just how it is. I mean, a Judge needs to hit in order for us to win. That's just how our team is run. But outside of that, and knock on wood, he's been hot like the entire year. And that's what's crazy. Like, I remember his rookie year. He had a ton of home runs going to the break, and everybody was going crazy. And they're like, can he hit 60? Can he beat people were going all the way back to that. And back in 2017. Comes out in the second half, and it just wasn't there. I know, some of it was the home run derby, his swing kind of, maybe he was trying to elevate too much, all that stuff. But it wasn't good. I mean, his second half of the season was not nearly as good as his first half. Really slowed down. Sure enough, this year that's not the case. I mean, he's just lit it up in the first half, and he's been at times even better in the second half. I mean, it's crazy. And I believe he's ahead of the pace than what Maris is, right? They keep breaking it down like where Maris was. He's like ahead of the pace, I think, where Maris is. And, during the home run chase, you kind of have to sometimes go on this 2-3 week big time run, and Judge has done that. So, phenomenal. What we continue to watch night in, night out is just unbelievable. It's historic, and Aaron Judge needs to be the MVP this season, and I don't think there's much debate. All right, so now we move on here to the Mets. We go from a positive to a little bit of a negative here as the New York Mets continue to struggle. New York Mets continue to lose as they lose last night 4-1 to the Chicago Cubs. They have now lost the first 2 of 3 games against the Cubs. And I mean, to put it in the most basic terms, it's embarrassing. That is completely embarrassing. You lose 2-3 in Miami. You find a way to salvage the final game of that series. Now you lose the first 2 against Chicago. I mean, it's terrible. And again, I said at the beginning of September that this was an opportunity for the New York Mets to, and if you're a Met fan today, you have every right to be frustrated. You have every right to be like, are you kidding me? Like, what is going on? We can't beat these teams. And credit to the Marlins. Credit to the Nationals. Even the Pirates, who crushed the Mets in Game 1 of that series 8-2. Yes, the next day, Wednesday, they had the doubleheader, and the Mets outscored them 15-1 in a combined 2 games. And I get all that. But, I mean, look at these games. And I said going into this stretch here where in September, they got a ton of opportunities to create some separation on the Braves. And the Braves schedule right now is not, the Giants, is not really that easy. It's not incredibly hard. It's not like they got to face the Dodgers, the Astros, the Padres, the Cardinals. It's not like they got to go face those teams or even the Mets. But they do it, they went against Seattle. I know they did, blow the game there. Seattle, they get San Francisco. They do get Philly now. So they do get some tougher opponents. And they're only a half game out. And I said at the beginning of September that the Mets had an opportunity to kind of create some separation in this division. And I didn't think that was crazy to say. I never said run away with division. I never said they were going to, final week of the season, they were going to be up 9 games. I said they could create some separation where going into that final series, they might be up 5 games and it might not mean a ton because of the opponents they are playing. And what has happened is they have now put themselves in a situation where down the stretch, they might not be able to rest guys. They might not be able to, kind of take it easy down the stretch. They're going to be playing very, very meaningful games later in September now. That's the situation they've put themselves in. Now, sure, they can turn it around, but the Braves are hot. If they keep winning, and even if the Mets do turn it around, it might only be a 2-game lead going into that Atlanta series because it's just going to even itself out anyway. I mean, the Mets had an opportunity. You win that series against the Dodgers in which you take 2 of 3 after losing the first game, let me mind you. You lost the first game of that series. You lost it. You bounced back and won the next 2. Then you welcome the Nationals to town. You get a convincing victory on that Friday night in which you won 7-3. A typical win against the Nationals, a struggling team, expected. Then the next 2 games, you get outscored 14-2. You lose the next 2, lose the series. You go to Pittsburgh. You win Tuesday 8-2, or you lose Tuesday 8-2. You do find a way to win the doubleheader that was on Wednesday due to the rain out. And then you go to Miami, lose 2 of 3. And no matter what happens tonight, you're going to lose the series against Chicago. I mean, these are teams we're talking about that are not in the playoff race. Nationals are eliminated. Cubs are eliminated. Marlins are very close. They're 58-84. And oh yeah, that Pirate team that they lost to and they get to play again tomorrow, they're eliminated. I mean, they're struggling against some of the league's worst teams right now. And this is the first time it's almost like the Mets are, and this is the first time I could truly say, and I'm not blaming Buck, but this is the first time where during the Buck season this year, since he's taken over head coach, this is the first time where it seems like the Mets aren't fully dialed in, kind of going through the motions. Not fully ready to play, not fully prepared, not fully, focused against some of the league's worst teams. This is the first time I've seen that. Because I've complimented Buck throughout the season. One thing I've said about him throughout the year, and what I've complimented his Met team about is, throughout the year, no matter who they're playing, they bring it every night. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of excitement. They make plays. They win the series. They get the job done throughout the season. And they never really got caught looking ahead or never got caught getting let down. Because really, before this stretch, there was never really that bad of a stretch for the Mets. They've always been consistent. That's why they've always been up there in the league in terms of some of the best records, because they remain consistent. The Yankees dropped them from number 1 all the way down to 5 because they were really good and then really bad for 2 months. The Mets never had that stretch. They're now in the middle of that. In September, right before October, you now find yourself a half game up on the Braves. This is the wrong time for the New York Mets to be getting cold. The wrong time. And if you're a Met fan, you cannot stress enough how important it is to get that final wild card spot. Or to win the division, rather. I meant that. Because if you get that wild card, your road to the World Series just got a whole lot harder. Instead of potentially playing the Dodgers, the earliest you played the Dodgers would be in the NLCS. Instead, you got to start with San Diego and get through the Dodgers in round 2 in the NLDS. And forget the fact even now you got to play San Diego. It's the stupid 3-game wild card series. Anything can happen in that. Same thing for the Yankees. That's why it's huge that they win a division and they don't blow it. Yeah, they might be playing against the Guardians or somebody that's not that good, But it's 3 games. Like, then you got your pitching, and then it's just a whole mess. You don't know how important in the National League it is to win the NL East. If you don't win the NL East, your road to the World Series is extremely, extremely difficult. Rather than if you just win the division, get to the NLDS, face the winner of that wild card, which would probably be either Milwaukee or Philly, right? Because then it would be, Milwaukee or Philly, because then it would be San Diego, Atlanta. Face them. Both those teams are more than capable, even you dominated Philly all year. And then you face Milwaukee, who you'll get later on in the season, but Milwaukee's a beatable team. Instead of having to play San Diego, who, they've been a little underwhelming since Soto and all them got there and the whole Tatis drama. But still, I think they're better than, San Diego. I know you can make the argument Philly or San Diego, but then you got to face the Dodgers second round after you play those 3 games. So that's what's tough. That's what's tough. So, because then let's just say you start DeGrom and Scherzer and you take 2 of 3, but then who's your game 1 starter against the Dodgers? And when do DeGrom and Scherzer get to pitch those games? So that's what makes it tough. Right? If you're a Met fan and if you're the Mets, you cannot possibly want to face San Diego and then the Dodgers right away. The best case scenarios is you face the Dodgers in the NLCS, and at that point it's like it's put up or shut up. You want to get to the you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. That's really how I see it. So, Mets are falling. And this is the first time, like I mentioned, throughout the Buck Showalter season this year, throughout his first year, have we really finally seen, I don't want to say finally like I've been rooting for it, but have we finally, has it kind of seen where it's like they're kind of, just like not taking their opponent, kind of taking their opponent lightly, getting caught looking ahead maybe a little bit to the postseason, just trying to get there. And look, it's not working out. So they're 4-6 in their last 10 on a 2-game losing streak. And it's a disappointing right now if you're a Met fan. I mean, you lose 2 of 3 against Miami. You lose 2 of 3 against the Nationals. You did win the series against the Pirates, but you had an ugly loss against them, and now you lose 2 of 3 here against Chicago. I mean, these are series that there should be no excuse. You should be sweeping these teams, and instead, you're losing 2 of 3. And I mean, look, it's the one thing if you have one series trip up. Losing every series, losing a series to the Nationals, the Marlins, and the Cubs in a span of 2 weeks is embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. It can't happen. And when you're in a division race, that's why you're only a half game up now, and that's why over the weekend there was that short, time period there, that day where they were behind in first place, or behind in second place. So I think the Mets are starting to feel the pressure a little bit. I mean, even these 2 games, they've been outscored 9-3. I mean, this is the Chicago Cubs you're playing up against. This isn't the Dodgers. This isn't the Astros. It's the Cubs. They're eliminated, or they're almost eliminated, I should say. You play the Pirates next, who are eliminated. And the Nationals are already eliminated. And you lost 2 of 3 against them. The Cubs are 60-82. And I don't want to hear, they're, no, they're 60-82. Okay. However you want to put it. I mean, this is the old saying that baseball season would apply to this stretch, but it's embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing right now. Again, you look at the schedule, and this isn't one of those things where you could say, oh, look at the schedule, it's brutal. No. They got 4 against Pittsburgh. If you can't take at least 3 or 4 against, even if you split against Pittsburgh, that's bad. You got to beat Pittsburgh. You got to. And your offense, I mean, come on. Your offense just cannot hit. You can't hit. You had 1 run last night. And it's bad when your starting pitcher, goes out and says, I got to be better. I got to throw up zeros. What? Throw up zeros? What do you need? Go out there, 8 innings, shut out baseball just to get the Mets to be in the game late in the game, just to be in it late? I mean, you kidding me? I got to be better. I got to throw up zeros. And Met fans are acting at times. Met fans are acting like DeGrom let up 10 runs last night. He let up 3 runs. That's normal. Cole let up 4 last night. I mean, it's bad. And DeGrom wasn't good. I mean, look, 3 runs is not good for his standards, but you should be in position to win the game when your pitcher lets up 3 runs. If DeGrom got crushed and he let up 7 runs, that's one thing. When you score 1 run, you're not going to win games. You're not going to be in games, especially late. And when it takes until the bottom of the ninth, I was wrong earlier. I said the 10th. I said the 8th. When it takes into the bottom of the ninth, down 4-0 to score that one run, that's bad. Meaningless home run by Alonso. And I don't want to discount the fact that he hit a home run. I don't want to be like that. But meaning in terms of the impacting the game. Now if there was 2 runners on base and he hits a 3-run homer and boom, boom, Vogelback steps up or Vientos end up, coming in. Vientos or a guy like a Mark Canha comes up, down 4-3, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Now you're like, all right, now we got something going. But, with Alonso hitting a home run, solo home run, doesn't mean much. So, Mets lose 4-1, got to find a way. And again, you don't look at the schedule and say it's a gauntlet because it's not. You got Pittsburgh, then you go out Milwaukee, then you got the A's, and then you got 2 more with the Marlins, and that's it. And then after that, it's the Braves and then the Nationals to close out the year. So your toughest series yet. I mean, if they play like this against Milwaukee, they might get swept. That's how I see it. You got to show up against the Brewers. They're not that bad. The Brewers are good. I mean, they're 2.5 games out of it and a wild card. Are they amazing? Are they the Braves? No. I think the Phillies are probably better than them. But still. So we'll see how it all plays out. Mets got to find a way to turn it around. Yankees seem to be playing some better baseball. Not seem to be. They are. Gaining a little bit more ground in the AL East standings after things got close over the past week and a half. And that's kind of what's going on in baseball right now. It's almost like the Jets and the Giants. The Jets right now, there's those concerned, frustrated Jet fans, and there's the happy Giant fans. And right now with the Yankees and the Mets, it's like, I don't want to say Yankee fans are extremely ecstatic because I don't think we all fully believe in this team. And I would say that, once the postseason comes around, everyone's going to buy into, everyone's going to buy into the hype and everyone thinks that their team's going to win the World Series once the postseason hits. That's just how it is. But right now, it's like the Yankee fans are, happy. They're happy about Judge, happy about what they're seeing, and Met fans right now are really bad. So, not much consistency right now in football and baseball in terms of all 4 teams playing at a high level. All right, so let's get to the MLB tonight here on this Wednesday. Got a ton of afternoon games going on right now. Some of the later games, you got the Mariners, Padres, Marlins, Phillies, Nationals, Orioles, Blue Jays, Rays, Twins, Royals, Brewers, Cardinals, A's, Rangers, and the Diamondbacks, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, rather. Mets, Cubs tonight, final game of a 3-game set. Mets look to salvage it. Getting swept by the Cubs would be ugly. Cubs come into this one, like I mentioned just a little bit ago, 60-82. As I mentioned earlier, too, the Mets are 89-54, 7:10 Eastern, Citi Field. It is on SNY. The Cubs got Drew Smyly on the mound. He's 6-8 with a 3.57 ERA, and the Mets have David Peterson on the mound. He's 7-4 with a 3.47 ERA. Over/under set at 7.5. And as for the Yankee game tonight, Yankees will look for the quick 2-game sweep in Boston and Fenway. Yankees are 86-56, 30 games above 500, fresh off their win last night. Red Sox fell last night, and they are now 69-73, 4 games below 500. 7:10 Eastern, you can find on NESN, and you can also find on Yes. Nestor Cortez is on the mound for the Yankees. He's 9-4 with a 2.73 ERA, and I believe it is it Brian Bello who's on the mound tonight for the Red Sox? Who's on the mound tonight for the Red Sox? It is, Brian Bello, however you want to pronounce it. He's 1-5 with a 5.79 ERA, over/under set at 9. Yankees, Red Sox tonight. Alrighty, so tomorrow for the Thursday night game, because I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be doing a pod tomorrow just because of the schedule, I might hop on quickly to do like a quick 3-minute video on just my prediction. So maybe I'll do that because I don't want to fully reveal it now. I'll see how it goes. I'll see how it plays out. I literally might do a video of my prediction saying, final. Actually, we'll roll with this. I'm going to say my prediction now. If I do a pod tomorrow, I'll just say it again. Chiefs, Chargers, Thursday night. Chiefs open up 4-point favorites. 8:15 p.m. Eastern, over/under set at 54, Amazon Prime Video. This is what's tough because you don't fully know what the injuries are now. Predicting a game on a Wednesday when it's on a Thursday is tough. Keenan Allen's out. Obviously, like I mentioned, I'm kind of doing this on the fly right now. I don't even know who I'm going to pick. Keenan Allen's out, which is tough for fantasy. Chargers coming off of a big win against the Raiders. They're on the road. I don't know. Right now, if I had to choose, I'm probably gonna say it would be the Chiefs that would win, but I might flip with the Chargers. Go around with the Chargers. Again, I might do a quick, literally like a quick 2-minute, 3-minute video tomorrow of my prediction once I once I got what I got. So that's not my official prediction. I will see if I make a video tomorrow. Again, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If I predict the Chiefs and I don't make a video and the Chiefs lose, I'm not gonna say I picked the Chargers. If I pick the Chargers and the Chargers lose, I'm not gonna all of a sudden say, oh, I picked the Chiefs. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll make my decision tomorrow. I might do a short video. Other than that, I'll let you know my pick and the result and stuff. You know how I am. I mean, you can look past the videos. I'm not gonna sit there and whoever wins just say, oh, I picked that team. That's not how I'm gonna do it. So I'll make that pick and stuff. Might be doing a shorter video tomorrow depending on how the schedule plays out and all that stuff. So, anyway, fantasy football lost in all 4 of my leagues this week, which wasn't good. Fantasy baseball, though, however, I'm currently in the in the playoffs, which I'm currently on a bye week right now in one of my leagues, and in my other league, I'm currently winning 453 to 330. So we'll see how it all plays out with the Thursday Night Football. That will be tomorrow night, so looking forward to that game, obviously. This stupid Amazon Prime Video, which is dumb, but it is what it is. And, so keep your eye out for a video tomorrow. If I don't do a video tomorrow, I will definitely be doing a video on Friday with my full game picks, getting you ready for Jets, Browns, Giants, Panthers, and all that good stuff. So that will do it. Yankees, Red Sox tonight, Mets, Cubs tonight. Mets look to bounce back after a couple tough performances, really, about a couple weeks worth of tough performances. So they look to bounce back tonight. Yankees look to go for the quick 2-game sweep with nasty Nestor on the mound tonight before a day off tomorrow. Then they'll head to Milwaukee for a 3-game set against the Brewers over the weekend. And, Mets will close out the series tonight against the Cubs before welcoming the Pirates to town for 4 at Citi Field Thursday through Sunday. And, so looking forward to all that. Enjoy your night. Enjoy the sports. Let's go Yankees. Let's see if Judge can hit another couple home runs. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 2 more tonight because that's just the season he's having. And, as always, again, keep your eyes out tomorrow for a possible video. I'll see how it all plays out. And, as always, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.